October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and this year I am spending all 31 days in October to spread awareness. Today I am chatting with the beautiful Mariel Ruiz. Mariel is a bilingual broadcast meteorologist with over a decade of experience. She currently works in the Dallas TV market, but previously worked in Austin. She's covered all types of storms, but is taking on one storm she never thought she would experience: breast cancer. On July 2nd, Marielle posted a video to her Instagram page that broke my heart. A month after she turned 33 years old, Marielle was diagnosed with breast cancer and shared her diagnosis with family, friends, and her fans. My beautiful 33-year-old friend is currently in the thick of things and here to share her story. So let's just get her on. Hello.
Hi.
You look beautiful as usual. How are you?
Uh, I am doing good. How are you doing?
Good. I just thank you from the bottom of my heart. You were still in the midst of everything and were so gracious to do this with me. And I do this every year and I've never talked to anyone that's like either they've done it or whatever, right? They're doctors, or whatever, but no one that's actually going through it. So thank you. And how are you feeling?
First of all, thank you for the invite. I I'm feeling good today.
Good.
And like you said, I'm going through it right now. And we'll talk about it, but 16 rounds of chemo and I have 15 done. So I have one more. One more and then we'll do a surgery before the end of the year. So just really looking forward to being on the other side of it and really looking forward to feeling better. Even though I'm saying I feel good today, I kind of every day there's kind of always kind of like this uneasy or queasy feeling that never really goes away. So, first of all, thanks for inviting me, and I'm really glad that we're doing this. I'm glad we're finally chatting.
Same. Let's just get into it.
Okay.
Let me see. I know I just told everyone a little bit about you, but do you want to add anything before we start?
Um, yeah, I mean, you said that I was diagnosed shortly after I turned 33. So my birthday is on April 7th, and I felt a lump myself on the 19th, and then started, the doctor's appointments and all that. But I felt a lump in the shower. I'm, like you said, 33, so it's not something that we get screened for
Yeah.
until, we're 40. And I have no family history of breast cancer. So it's not something that was necessarily on my radar. Um, but I felt the lump and I felt pretty uneasy about it. Something just didn't feel right. And I was lucky enough to get into see a nurse practitioner 3 days later. So I felt my lump on a Saturday. Tuesday, I was in her office, and fortunately, she paid enough attention to where she was like, you know what? I can tell you're uneasy. What's the harm in getting scanned? So I got an ultrasound 2 days after that. The radiologist there said, I don't love the position of it. Let's go ahead and do a biopsy. So that following week, I was getting a biopsy. That was April 30th. On May 5th, I got the call from that nurse practitioner. She said, look, I just got these results in. I don't have all the answers yet, but it's cancer. And that moment I remember my heart just kind of like skipping or stopping. I felt so uneasy. I felt nauseous. I felt warm all over. And I didn't know what to do after that.
Yeah.
Luckily, she helped guide me. We're now friends on Instagram. It's this
Oh,
nurse practitioner that I had just met the week before, and she really helped save my life. And she
yeah.
helped early detection. She helped kind of guide me. Do these scans. Okay, we know it's this. Let's go ahead and get an MRI, a CT. let's go ahead and get it all scheduled so that when you get to your oncologist appointment, she found my now oncologist who's incredible. She says, so that way when you're there, you have all of the information that you can possibly have so we can tackle this the best way. And so on May the 12th, I officially went in to meet my oncologist. She gave me my stage. So it's stage 2 triple negative breast cancer. And then she laid out what a typical treatment plan is like. And she explained to me what it was. So for everyone that's not familiar with it, triple negative simply means that it's not, my tumor doesn't grow based on hormones. It doesn't grow based on HER2 protein. It grows randomly, and that's what makes it so aggressive. But that's also why chemotherapy is really effective against triple negative breast cancer. And so I was diagnosed on May 12th. When I met my oncologist, she said, I know you don't have kids. I don't know if you want kids, she said, but if you were my little sister, I would tell you to do IVF and freeze eggs. So she actually, my oncologist got us into her colleague's office the next day. My husband and I were there the following day, and he explained to us everything IVF, and then we started IVF the next day. So 2 days after receiving my official diagnosis.
Yeah.
So it was a lot, all within a very small time frame, and only a handful of people knew. Our very most inner circle knew. Um, and we were still living our lives. We were still working full time. We were still doing all of the other things that, we were normally doing day to day, but also trying to navigate this new cancer diagnosis.
Yeah. So, and I've heard this story, a couple of times now, but just hearing it again every time, I just 32 years old, just turned 33, went, found your lump yourself, did something about it, couldn't get in right away, found someone, was very proactive. They, helped you get in, figured out. And then, being 33, and how long have you been married?
7 years now.
It was in years. Okay. So then you were like,
Hmm.
okay, well, I guess they asked you like the kids thing. And I'm so glad you talked about that because I always wondered. They told me, they were like, hey, do you want to have more kids? And I was like, no, because, I was done by that time. And they were like, okay, because you can't, after this. And so when you told me your story about IVF, it blew my mind because I guess for they gave you the option, like start IVF before chemo, I guess was what they told you real quick. Okay.
Yeah, so my oncologist was like, your tumor, triple negative breast cancer is aggressive. And there's whenever you get a biopsy done, they figure out what stage you are, and they also figure out how aggressive it is. So it's a number, it's on a scale of 0 to 100. A 0 means it's not spreading very quickly, 100 means it's growing as fast as it possibly can. My number was in the 90s. So this was something that we needed to start chemo immediately so that it would stop spreading. And fortunately, mine is really just in the breast. So there were no signs, at least not at the moment, and we'll know more at surgery, but there were no signs of spread. So if we wanted to keep it that way, we had to hurry up and start chemo. But she also understood that I have a full life to live after this. And if kids were even maybe in our future, um, that IVF was something that we strongly needed to consider. And she did say, she said, there is a possibility for us to still conceive naturally after, but just keep in mind, these were her words, just keep in mind that your ovaries would have undergone chemo after this. So if you want the best eggs, the best embryos possible, you should consider doing this before chemo. And her words to me were, if you were my little sister, I would tell you to do this. I would tell you to freeze your eggs. And that was the moment for me that I said, okay, I think I need to do this. And the IVF was not something that we had ever considered
Yeah.
before. So yeah, 2 days after my official diagnosis, we started IVF. So that was May 14th. And then that following Friday, I had surgery to get my port installed.
We could take
Um,
us through that because it's been a long time since it was been 8 years. Is it still just a simple outpatient procedure where, and will you explain what a port catheter is?
yeah, yeah. So I can show you. Here's mine.
Yep. It's like a
It
little
has little
bump
three
that kind of
dots.
sticks out of your chest, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
and there's a catheter that goes underneath my collarbone into one of my main veins. And what a chemo port is, Metaport, is that what they're called? Um,
I call it chemo port.
yeah, I call it chemo port. Basically, instead of them poking me on my arm, they poke me on my chemo port, and that's where all of my medicine, all my chemo goes in through that. So our veins here are really tiny, so it's really difficult and really harsh on our veins there to get the chemo in through our arms, which is how it was explained to me.
Yeah.
Um, I hated the idea of this, but after going through 15 rounds, I understand.
Yeah.
And I'm a big advocate so thankful for it because it makes it a whole lot easier
Oh yeah.
with Asmussen. And he came in that morning to an hour procedure, and I was home that afternoon. So
Wow.
it was a pretty simple one. And during that time frame, I was still doing IVF, so I was still getting all of the shots in my belly to stimulate my hormones and my ovaries to produce eggs. And then that following Monday, which was Memorial Day, I went in for my egg retrieval, and we ended up freezing embryos that week.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That was
And then
a
the following Friday, I started my first round of chemo. So between getting my diagnosis and day one of chemo, it was 18 days.
gosh. Wow. What a
Yeah.
whirlwind, huh?
It was kind of like a checklist. I'm a checklist girl, and it was like, okay, got this done, got this done. And it was really, in looking back, I remember thinking, let's just get through today.
Yeah.
And I think I'm still thinking like that, but
Yeah.
it's a little slower now. And it was kind of a blur every day because again, I was still working full time. No one at work knew, except for two people. Um, but it was quite a month.
Well,
May
that's
2025 will go down in the books.
yeah. Oh, for sure, to say the least. Well, I was going to ask you, were you still working during this time? And yeah, I guess you were. So was that helping you to go into work and stay in the routine?
I think so. I think working for me, I know a lot of people say, like, your work doesn't define you, but my job is really important to me. It's a big part of who I am.
Yeah.
And I think the day to day and being around the people that I was with every day really did help me through, even though they didn't know it. They didn't know yet. Um, and I knew I wanted to tell them. I just wasn't ready to tell them in that moment.
Yeah.
Um, my two of my bosses knew, and they were so great at helping me kind of navigate like work. And every day during my IVF process, I had to go into the clinic to get my blood drawn because I would get my blood drawn. So I would go to work in the morning, I would do the shows. During my break, I would drive into the clinic, get my blood drawn, go back to the studio to do another show. And then by the time I was done with that show, I would get a message on my chart saying, like, okay, this is how much medicine you need to inject today. And here are your hormone levels. This is what we're doing today. And that was my life for like 10, 11 days.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow. And I remember you going on and posting that video, which if anybody watching, if I need y'all to just all follow her on Instagram. That video that you've pinned is just so, it was so beautiful. It broke I still can't watch it without crying. It broke my heart, but it was so powerful. And it was such a good PSA as well. You just putting yourself out there. I guess will you tell us like how did you decide to do it? When did you decide to do it? And will you tell everybody what you did?
Yeah. So in early July, I had already done a few runs of chemotherapy. In early July, There was this was first put out on WFAA Daybreak, so our morning show, and um, I knew that I wanted to tell people what I was doing, what I was going through. I knew I needed people to know because I knew that I was going to look different. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to work. Like I didn't know what chemo was going to do to my body. I didn't know how I was going to react. So I wanted to be very open about that. But I was also so freaking angry. Like, why me? I work out, I eat healthy, I do all the things you're supposed to do. I'm in my early 30s. I don't even get screened for this, and yet I have it,
Yeah.
right? So I was really angry, and I wanted to tell people that this can happen to me. Like, please check yourselves, be aware of your bodies, do those self checks, go
Yes.
get checked out. So it was a lot of feelings, and this was kind of like a love letter to the audience too. Like, thank you for letting me be a part of your lives, but this is the storm that I'm tackling right now, and I want you to know what that is, and I know, and I want you to be a part of it too, because I need the support
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
I'm going to keep working.
Good for
And
you.
so I came to my news director, Leslie, and she was very much like, let's do what you want. If you want to tell people, you can. If you don't, that's, she didn't push me or anything like that. Um, but she did help me like come up with how we were going to do it. So I wrote it. My really good friend Tiffany Liu, who's a reporter at WFA, helped me with my words too. She is a beautiful writer. Um, and she was one of my people early on that was a big supporter. Um, so I wrote this letter, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to memorize it, and I knew that I needed help. So we actually put it in the teleprompter, and my news director like thought of, and our lighting crew kind of like really framed me up in our studio, which is where I spend so much time. And I wrote it off of a teleprompter a couple of times, and that was all I could do. I couldn't do it again. So we used one of those takes, and we decided what day. And then really immediately after it was on air, we posted it online for our digital audience too. Um, and I've gotten so much support from that. Our audience has just been so incredible and so understanding and so loving. And I've gotten so many letters and gifts that are sent to the studio. And it just like little reminders that just remind me that I'm not by myself. I'm not alone, that I have such a big support group. And um, it was really hard to do, but I'm glad that I did it.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
You was such a big, and I know it couldn't have been easy. Like I can, you're smiling and you look so gorgeous, but the pain in your voice, like only I think someone that's been through this can relate. And I was just like, oh my, like even without, like right now, I'm like, don't cry while saying it. Just seeing that, I was like, gosh, like I'm thinking what people would tell me, you were so young. How could this happen? Like all that. And I'm like, not my friend, not, when I saw that, I was like, oh, and so. But thank you for sharing that with the world because I know you have helped so many with that video. And so after our live, I'm going to repost it too because it's like one of my favorite PSAs. So thank you for doing
Thank
that.
you. That's
And
so sweet. And a big thank you to you because you know this now, but you didn't know this then. I had followed your page since I lived in Austin, which was
yeah,
like over 5 years ago.
yeah,
We've been, social media friends, and
yep,
um early on before anyone knew, when I just like didn't know what to do, I was up late at night like not sleeping. I went to your page, scrolled all the way to the bottom to like when you were going through your journey, and that helped me so much. And so your page was a really big help. You were a really big help, and you didn't know it yet. And I hope that what we're doing now can be that for someone else in the future.
thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And that's why I do what I do. I'm like, why do I take 31 days to do this? And that right there, what gave me more strength to keep going. And so thank you for sure. I'm so
Yeah.
glad it was so helpful because that's the whole point of this. Like, I tell people it's not like right now, I don't know how many people are watching. I don't know how many people watch this, but when they need that information, it will be there and they will remember it and they will know it. And that's what I love about doing these.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're not just diagnosed in October or, whatever. So I was like, people go back and be like, I remember when you did that. So I went and watched all those videos. So thank you for
Mhm.
sharing that.
Of course, yeah, and I already know that what we're doing is helping. I've gotten a lot of letters of women that have been putting off those screenings that are going to go get checked out,
Oh,
and unfortunately, I've also gotten the emails that they're like, "Well, I saw your story, and I remember I felt a lump, so I went and got checked out, and now they're in treatment too." Um, and it's
isn't that
just,
awesome? That's because of you. Like they might have not even done that. Like I get that too, but I'm sure the minute you got that, it's like, oh my God, but it's like, oh my God, like good for you. Because yeah, I mean, I get that too, especially after I do all these, month of lives. I'll get like, hey, I remember that. I went and got a mammogram. Unfortunately, it was a lump, it was cancer, but it was
mhm,
stage 0, stage 1, stage 2, like so that
early.
yes, early detection. So I was like, this is why you and I do what we do. So good for
That's
you.
right.
So my next question that you've already answered, what stage are you? You were stage 2?
Stage two. Yeah.
Okay. And how many rounds of chemo did you have to do already? And how many are left?
So it is 16 rounds of chemo. The first 12 were weekly and it was Taxol. The last four AC, which are kind of kicking my butt.
Red Devil. Do you still call it that? The Red Devil?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
people still call it that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it sure is bright red.
Oh,
Um, I know, just even thinking about it makes me really queasy.
same.
Um,
All these
the
years
first,
later.
yeah, so I'm 15 rounds done, one more to go.
Oh my God.
My last one is on November 6th.
All right.
Um, so it'll be in a couple weeks. Um, but yeah, all of the side effects were kind of different like week to week, and they're definitely cumulative. I made a friend who also went through this journey last year, and she's also a meteorologist and does mornings, and she's out of Oklahoma, and she was open about her journey during her own time. But she gave me just some really great advice. And so I went based off of her advice. I do my treatments on Thursday. I'm still like, I'm okay on Friday, so I'm at work. And then I typically feel my worst like Saturdays and Sundays following treatment. Um, but the first 12 weeks, some of the side effects that I felt were a little bit of tingling, a little bit of neuropathy in my fingers and my toes, especially in the mornings. But I did ice gloves and ice slippers during the infusions, so
Wow.
that's supposed to help.
I didn't know that was the
Um,
thing.
yeah, that's a thing. So that's something that helps with neuropathy is um, the ice gloves and the slippers, the cold slippers, that's supposed to help minimize the symptoms. And I think mine were pretty minimal, so I would say it worked. The first couple of weeks, I had something called chemo mouth, so like the sores and that. However, one of my nurses had the brilliant idea to chew on ice during that treatment. So it kind of works like the cold gloving and the cold slippers. And I didn't suffer from any kind of like mouth sores or anything after that. Um, other side
You didn't
effects
do the
are,
biotine. They recommended biotine for me. So did you ever have to do that, like to mouthwash for cold
um,
sores?
they gave me a mouthwash that was like their own concoction. And it was just like a magic mouthwash that I would use whenever I started feeling those symptoms.
Yeah.
And it felt like it kind of numbed my mouth. But I didn't do biotine specifically, no.
And did you ever lose your taste during this time? Like did you ever feel like when you're eating food, you just couldn't taste it?
At
Yeah.
times, yeah. Sometimes things weren't salty enough, so I would add salt.
Oh
So
yeah.
if I was cooking and I added too much salt, my poor husband just kind of like ate it
Yep.
anyways. Um, so yeah, the taste did change a little bit. It's gotten better now, but sometimes things weren't salty enough. I felt like I always had to eat because during or right before I get my infusions, I also get steroids. And I feel like that just made me so hungry. So I
Yeah.
was always eating. So one side effect that I didn't expect that happened was weight gain. And my oncologist said that it's very common with breast cancer patients to see weight gain, especially on the regimen that I'm on because of the steroids,
Uh,
to help fight some of the side effects. So there were some weeks where I felt I couldn't eat enough. And usually it was like the bland carbs, right? Like the breads and the pastas and the pizza and the tortilla chips. I loved my tortilla chips.
yeah.
Um,
One thing
and
they told me is when I lost my taste is that instead of eating out like the stainless steel spoons and whatnot, to get bamboo cutlery, bamboo
yes,
plates. Did I tell you? Is this still a thing?
it's still a thing. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because a lot of people will get like a metallic taste in the mouth. And
Yes.
so it was really hard to eat with like a normal spoon. So um, the National Breast Cancer Foundation actually sent me a little goodie box, and in that goodie box was a set of um, silverware that wasn't, you know, metal.
So yeah.
And so, yeah, that incredibly helpful to
Oh, good
still,
to
yeah.
know. Good to
Hmm.
know because when people will message me and say, and that's I guess one of my questions coming up. We can talk about that now if you want. Like, what gifts do you give to someone that's going through treatment? I've been adding like the Biotine mouthwash, the bamboo cutlery. But what would you, I mean, since you're actually in the thick of things, what are not gifts that others gave you, but what would you tell other people watching that are going through this? What was so helpful for you?
So I actually also got great advice from someone else, and she said that she wished if she could go back and tell herself something, it would be to create like an Amazon like wish list.
Mm,
Um, because people like want to help you. Like
yeah,
when you tell people like your family, your friends, they want to be there for you, but they don't know how, and you don't necessarily know how either.
yeah.
Um, and so I actually went and I created like a kind of like a registry, like a wish list. Like these are the things that I think are going to help me with recovery. And in that, and you can use this for ideas for gifts too. I had like comfy clothes that I could wear to chemo. I had air filters. So like at my house, we have like little air filters, like air purifiers in like our room, and we have it in the living room. So new filters for that, an acupuncture mat for whenever you're sore, you can lay, and it kind of helps some pressure points. Um, I had a one of the things that I added on there was like this huge thing of Jolly Ranchers because I knew that hard candy was like
Ah,
something that I for sure wanted, especially when I was getting nauseous. Like hard candy was just very comforting. I had things like new towels. Maybe you should, you need fresh towels. You should donate your old towels and get a fresh new set of towels. Antibacterial soap, non-toxic cleaning products for your house. What else did I have on there? Headscarves.
oh yeah.
Um, So those were all things that I knew I was probably going to purchase for myself, but I had it on the wish list. And when I did tell all my coworkers, because my coworkers, they knew before that message went out to the world, um, my coworkers and my family pretty much got everything for me. And it was incredible. We were, for a couple of days there, we had a lot of Amazon gift boxes arriving at our house, and it really set us up for success, like
Yeah,
right off the bat.
man.
DoorDash gift cards.
Good things. Yeah.
Um, yeah, DoorDash gift cards because there are days where you don't want to cook.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, those are some good ideas. I'm gonna have to steal some of those. If you still have that Amazon wish list saved somewhere, I'm definitely
Oh,
gonna.
I'll send it to you.
Thank you. And so now, okay, so chemo's almost done, and then what's the plan after that?
Okay, so the plan right now is a double mastectomy. So whenever, oh, the sun's shining really bright now.
Okay.
Whenever I met with my oncologist that first time, we went ahead and did genetic testing. which I think is a pretty common practice at this
Yep.
point. Um, and so during my first round of chemo, I met with her and she said, did you know that you have the BRCA1 mutation? So, a BRCA1 mutation means a high risk of developing breast cancer, um, which I did. And it's also a high risk for developing a new type of breast cancer later in life.
Yeah.
So, because of that, we made the decision that it's just best to do a double mastectomy, and that's what will happen in December.
Okay.
And during the same surgery, reconstruction. So that's something that I don't think was common practice before, but um, it happens now.
Which I am so jealous. So I had to do the double mastectomy and then wait a few months and then do like a 12-hour reconstruction after that. So yeah. So everyone that tells me that this is a thing now, I'm like, I love advancement and technology and thank goodness that nobody has to go through that anymore because that was the worst. So
The
that's
waiting,
awesome.
yeah.
That and then just like the two surgeries, right? Like I'm like,
Oh, I
thank God y'all do
know.
it in one, you know? Um,
Yeah, and it's a long surgery, but it's one.
yeah, yeah.
You recover once.
Yep.
So,
And so it's beautiful. That's awesome. All right. So I know I asked you like what gifts, like the gift question to you, but was there gifts that people gave to you that stick out that you're like, man, these made really good gifts for me during this time?
ooh, let's see. I think I had a lot of people write in like physical letters, um, and they were sending them to the station, people that I've never met.
Yeah.
And those are really sweet. I mean, I have a pile of them, even though I don't or haven't replied to everyone. Um, it's just really sweet to kind of go back and read those. And um, so I think those themselves are really sweet gifts. Just knowing that like other people are just, thinking about you.
Yes. You know,
Yeah.
I've asked that question to so many survivors and thrivers, even on lives this month, and that's the number one answer is the personalized
Really?
notes. Yes. I expected like fuzzy blanket, fuzzy this. I was waiting for it. And literally you saying it too, I'm like, everyone. Like one of my really good friends here in Austin, Nazreen, same thing. Like we always talk about it's those like little simple things, the handwritten notes or just and then we go
Hmm.
back and we read those because they're so heartfelt and it does make you feel warm and fuzzy inside. So
It does. And the other physical thing that I use all the time that can also be added to the Amazon wish list that whoever's listening can create,
yeah,
electric blanket.
that's a good one.
Yeah, because the chemo rooms get really chilly, especially
Yeah.
if you're wearing cold gloves and cold slippers. My center has warm blankets, but they only stay warm for so long. So it's nice to have that electric blanket. I had one coworker give me one that I keep at work, and my other coworker gave me one that I take with me to the center, and
That's
it's a huge help.
oh, that is a really, really good idea. Okay.
Yeah.
How can someone be a good caretaker during this time? What do you think?
I think caretakers have the hardest job.
Yes, I
I
agree.
think, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not no walk in the park going through like chemo, going through cancer, but I can't imagine, I cannot imagine um, being the caretaker. And for me, my primary caretaker is my husband, but we get a lot of help. We have my mom that comes over, once or twice a week because she lives nearby. Um, One of my husband's sister, my sister-in-law, is currently in town, kind of just helping out around the house, and that's a huge help. Um, One of my best friends, one weekend, we did a spouse swap because they live out of town, and so she came into town, and my husband went to her husband, and they had like a boys' weekend.
Love
So
that.
yeah, I think, and I think what I was trying to say with that is, I think the one thing a caregiver what makes a good caregiver is that they're also taking care of themselves. Because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of the person that you're taken care of, right? And it's not just physically, it's mentally too. And I think that part is really tough. So I, for example, that spouse swap weekend, brilliant. Couldn't have come at a better time. I think he needed a break. And I think it was the perfect thing, right? I got a girls' weekend, he got a boys' weekend.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that makes a good caregiver is knowing how to also take care of yourself and knowing that it's okay to take care of yourself,
Yeah.
um,
Oh, that's
so that
beautiful.
you can take care of your person.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And I learned, I learned that. I mean, I kind of knew that. And then one of my lives this, this time around was with my husband, and it made me really, really realize like how badly he needed someone as much as I did, at that time. And like my heart breaks for him now, knowing that he just kind of dealt with everything alone, and I was like, had I known then what I know now, I wish that he would have had a therapist. His like I should have reached out to more of his friends, like take him out, take him to a basketball game, take him somewhere, like he needs as and I was getting all the attention, everyone was taking care of me, but who was taking care of that guy, and that it breaks my heart because he was playing mom, dad, everything, doing
Oh
everything,
my gosh. I
yeah.
couldn't imagine. You went through it with littles. I don't have that. So I just that's like an extra whole extra layer. But yeah, I mean, we're very fortunate that, right now my husband takes on much more of the load at the house and just everything that we usually share responsibilities on. He's
Yeah.
taking most of the load, but um, he gets help from my mom. My mom comes and she helps she helps to clean the house once a week, which is
Yeah.
so nice. Thanks, mom. Um, and right now his sister is here, so she's like
Oh,
cooking, right? So that's one less thing for him to do.
yes.
And our circle, our close circle knew really early on about my diagnosis, and they have been really great. His band members, they get together once a week. They jam out. So that's
Nice.
great. That gets him away from the house. It, puts him in his element. He's with his friends, and they have been just a really incredible supportive group as well. And that was one of the things that I was worried about early on. I was very worried about him, but I think he's doing great.
Good.
You know.
Good, good, good. That's awesome. Has anyone said anything to you during this time that has shocked you? I mean, I can start if you want. I'm freaking South Asian. The stuff people said to me, I was like, I could write a book. But I'm like, is it a South Asian thing, or do other cultures like do this stuff to their people too? Because
Wait,
man,
like what? Give me an
oh
example.
man, I got the number one thing I got is I would call people and say I have cancer, and they would say, "Don't tell anyone." Every time, and I'm like, then I got, "Don't tell anyone because no one's gonna marry your daughters." And I was like, what? Yeah. I got just eat a lot of turmeric. Like all like because Indian people know turmeric, right? It's just the answer to everything. And so I was like, what is wrong with people? But I'm like, is this just like Indian people or is this like a thing? Because has anyone said
No,
anything
that
to you?
Latinos are like that too.
Oh no. I want to hear it.
Yeah. I haven't gotten anything quite like that, but I do remember pretty early on when I was telling not the whole world, but family and extended family, I got a call and they were like, "Well, it's probably what you've been eating." Like, you don't, you're not in my kitchen. You don't know what I've been eating. I, for the last several years, have worked with a nutritionist. Like,
Yeah.
I eat very healthy. Mine is literally genetic.
Oh my gosh.
You have to make sure you're like in some kind of I don't even know, some kind of a balance. I was like, that's not what this is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, and also the whole, I understand a holistic approach to things. I think holistic and our medicine go hand in hand. I do think that, yes, we should be eating certain things to help boost immune systems and all that. And yes, we're doing that. Um, but just some letters from people I don't know. They're like, don't do chemo. Like, whatever you do, don't do chemo. I'm like, chemo's what's saving my life.
I got
So
that too. I thought it was an
yeah,
Indian person thing. Wow.
no, just like
Don't
don't do
do
chemo.
chemo.
I'm
Wow. I
like,
got
what
that
do
too.
you
And I was,
mean? I was like, wait till you're in this position. Would
yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't be telling you to not do it.
yeah.
Um, but
That's wild. All right. Well, I don't know if I should be happy or sad that like this is just a thing now. So, oh man. All right. I need to know you have almost your 16th chemo coming up. I did
mhm.
not look this good after 16 chemos. You've got all this hair. What can you talk to me about? Have you lost any hair? Are you
Most of it's gone. Yeah,
Is that
most
a
of it's
wig?
gone. This is a wig. Yeah,
No.
yeah,
That is a really good wig.
yeah. Yeah, this is something that I haven't really talked too much about, but I actually had a good amount of hair up until um maybe my 13th round. Gosh, it's so
What?
sunny. I'm gonna sit over here.
Yeah, yeah.
Until like my 13th round or so. It wasn't enough to not wear a wig on air. I
Yeah.
started wearing a wig on air like in early July. So when the announcement came out, I was not wearing my wig in the announcement, but the day that it came out, because I had recorded it before that, the
Mm,
day it came out, I was already wearing a wig.
got it.
So I've been wearing a wig since early July. Um, I had enough hair to where I could still braid it and wear a baseball cap. Like if I'm
Yeah.
working out, that's what I did up until, yeah, about round 13. But most of it is gone.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so this is a really beautiful wig that so when I told my coworkers what was happening, they immediately like went into action, and not only were they like fulfilling my Amazon wish list, they were signing up for meal trains,
Oh,
um, and on top of that, they came together and they uh, fundraised and they bought me this really fancy wig that I ordered from New York. So it's an incredible
do you
wig,
remember the
and
name of
it's
the company by any chance?
yes, it's called Highline Wigs.
Okay.
Yeah, Highline Wigs, and it's I want to say it's a smaller company because I remember emailing them kind of freaked out, like I'm afraid that I'm gonna go just like so bald in the next week, and this isn't gonna get here for another like 2 weeks. And
Yeah.
she was like, "Don't worry, I'll rush order it. It's fine. You'll get it." I It was plenty of time. I was freaking out because
Wow.
like you don't know until you know. You don't know how your body's going to react until it reacts, right?
Exactly. That
So
should just be the like permanent slogan for cancer. Like, you don't know until
you
you
don't
know.
know until everyone reacts to chemo differently. And my eyebrows actually were there up until like 3 weeks ago. Now it's fully drawn on.
Wait, that's drawn on by you?
Uh-huh. I just
You
did it
did
this
a
morning.
good job.
Yeah. Thank
That's
you. A
amazing.
lot of practice in YouTube videos.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
And so
so
did
it's
you ever consider
makeup and hair is the reason I look like this now because I don't look like this when I take all of this off. Trust me.
no, fair. I mean, fair. Cancer, no cancer, same. But man, I am just, yeah, like, it's like I didn't know people microblade before they go into chemo. I didn't know that was a thing until recently, just because they knew that all their, eyebrows were gonna fall out. Um,
Yeah, I didn't I had considered that, but I was going through IVF and I didn't want like another thing.
that's true.
I was just like I'll get to that when I get to that, and for me it just means drawing on my
I
eyebrows
mean, your
every morning.
situation is amazing. So you nailed it. You nailed it. How I forgot
Thank
to ask you,
you.
how bad was your nausea after chemotherapy? And if it was bad, is there anything you did for it?
Yeah, so before chemo, before the infusion starts, I actually get anti-nausea medication into my chemo port.
Oh,
So
wow.
they're doing, yeah. And the other thing that helps a lot is that my brilliant oncology nurse, her name is Brandy, she's the best, literally the best. Um, she set up my appointments to where I do chemo, and then the next day I go in for IV fluids and another round of like anti-nausea medication. And I think that's been a huge help. So looking for anyone that needs to hear this, like look into your center. They might be able to fit you in the following day for fluids to keep you hydrated and to give you anti-nausea medication. But other things that I did that helped, my coworker actually stocked with ginger chew candy at my desk at work.
Yeah.
I have another coworker that keeps me stocked up with gum because gum also helps for whatever reason.
Oh, okay.
Um, and snacking also helps me because I think if I'm distracted by by eating, then I'm not thinking about wanting to puke.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've eaten a lot of popcorn these last few months. Popcorn is like the thing that for whatever reason has been my like my go-to snack.
Salt. Is it the salt? Like, is it the salty popcorn, you think? The salt?
I think it's the salt.
That's a good
I think
idea.
it's the salt. Yeah. And it's a low calorie food, so it's like doesn't count.
Yeah, seriously. Such a good idea. All right. What is the best advice someone gave you during this time?
Um, it was actually another coworker. I've been talking about my coworkers a lot, but
The
I spent a
best
lot of time with
coworkers. I need
them.
to meet these people.
I work with a great group of people. One of my coworkers was bringing me dinner. Um, he was bringing me dinner after one of my treatments, kind of early on, and he said, "You have to let people help you."
Okay.
I was before this just very much, I'll do it myself. Like, I don't want help. I can figure it out. I can
Yeah.
do it myself. Um, but he said, you have to let people help you. People want to help you,
Yes.
first of all, um, and you need it.
Yeah.
Like, get real, you need
Yeah.
it. But he also said something that I didn't think about, and he said, um, letting them help you is therapeutic for them too.
Oh, I love
Because
that.
you want to help, like think of yourself, right? And
Yeah.
you know, we now have friends that are going through this, right? But like you want to help them, you want to be there for them.
Yeah.
And whenever you do help them, then it's therapeutic for you too.
Yeah.
So it's they don't want you don't want them to feel helpless,
Yeah.
right? You know, and you need the help. Let's
Yeah.
get real. I'm
Yeah.
talking to myself, like I need the help.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he said it's therapeutic for them too. You have
Yeah.
to let them help you.
Love that. That's really good advice. All
Yeah.
right. One thing I want to talk to you about is, have you heard of this Tyler Cusick something risk assessment? Like, do you know?
Only recently, I
Same.
wish I knew this 3 years ago.
Same. Yeah. What do you know about it? Let's talk about this.
Um,
Yeah. This is
so
wild.
it's what Olivia Munn is like always preaching about.
Yep.
If you don't know who that is, actress, she took the risk assessment test and it came back high for her. Turns out she had breast cancer and got surgery. She didn't have to go through chemo because she caught it very, very early. But basically, it's a questionnaire you fill out. It's completely free. It's a questionnaire, and it gives you a number. I don't remember what the scale is, but basically, it puts you like in a category, like low risk, medium risk, high risk, um, and it's just like a good like starting point, right? Especially if you're someone like me. Like I don't have a family history of breast cancer. My mom doesn't have it. My grandma didn't have it. Um, we have limited information on my dad's side of the family because his mom passed away young, so we don't know too much about her history. Um, but I went back and I took the test, pretending that I didn't know I had cancer yet, and sure enough, I was at higher risk. And again, this is based off of questions. You're not giving a blood sample or anything like that. It's completely free.
Yep.
Um, I wish I wish I had known about this years ago.
Yeah. I
And
heard about it too, and I'm like, what? So that's pretty cool that you took it and yeah, and then the results came back the way it is. And it's 100% free. So everybody
Mhm.
watching should just do it. And
Yeah,
so,
pass it out to all the girlfriends. Just send the
yeah.
link in the group chat.
Yep. Oh, I love that. I love
Yeah, everyone should do it. And the other, yeah, and I feel like if I knew that like a few years ago, because this test has been around for a while, I'm pretty sure. If I knew that a few years ago, then I probably would have explored that because I'm very interested in health.
Yes.
Um, so I probably would have gotten some genetic testing done. Maybe I would have found out that I had that BRCA1 gene mutation earlier in life. Maybe I could have done something preventative
Yeah.
instead of waiting until, it was cancer.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Someone said, "Can you share the link?" I absolutely will. When I post, when we end this live, I'm going to post it too. For anyone that's watching that just got diagnosed with breast cancer, what advice do you have for them?
oh man, it's a really scary time. I think being recently diagnosed was the worst time of my life because it's such a big influx of information, and then there's so many unknowns, and then you're trying to figure out what the next few months are going to look like. You're trying to figure out what work looks like. You're going to try to figure out what home looks like. um, my biggest advice is to just take a breather. I know it's hard. Take a breather. Bring someone with you to the appointments because you will forget. It's information overload. Um, my husband was that person for me. He didn't let me go to any appointment by myself, so he retains information so much better than me. Um, so bring someone with you to the appointments. Um, write stuff down. That's a big one.
Yes.
I One of my coworkers also gave me a little journal that I wrote stuff in like pretty
Love.
early on. Um, and just take it day by day because there are so many resources out there, and what you're going through, someone else has already been through it. So find your people.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. That's honestly it from my end. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you want to share?
Oh gosh, I feel like we talked about all of it.
We talked about a lot. We've talked so long. Instagram's gonna cut us off soon, and I've never had a live this long. I just feel like it's like two besties slash breasties,
Yeah,
talking about like life and stuff. So I was like, wow, it's already been an hour.
I can't
So
believe it. Yeah.
yeah, no, this was such a good live. Thank you
Thank you so
so much.
much.
I know that like you're doing chemo still. You have all this stuff coming up. You're a busy bee, and but this is going to help so many. You have no idea how much I appreciate this live. And
I appreciate you for doing all these lives.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I'm just super excited for you. I'm going to be rooting for you, thinking November 6th, right?
Yes, November
All
6th.
right, last one. We got this. And then double mastectomy. You have my
Hmm.
phone number. You call or
Yes,
text me if you need anything.
I absolutely will.
And thank you so much. And then the next time in Dallas, we are definitely going to have to meet up.
Yes, please.
All right.
Soon, hopefully.
Yes, it will be soon. I will send you a text right after this. So, all
Perfect.
right, friend. Love you. Thank you.
Love
And
you
I'll be
too.
thinking about you. See you soon.
See you soon.
All right. Bye.